What's up, guys? Deltacore777 here. This is my first video on YouTube. I just want to give a little quick shout out to DubKDad1. He was really the one, that channel that really stood out, that really inspired me to make my own channel and start making content about ban list or deck list or whatever. And he's just a really good channel. Just has complete knowledge of the game, and you should just go over and check his videos. And he's just got deck profiles. He's just got tips, tricks. It's there. All of it is there. He's just someone you should go comment, rate, subscribe to his channel. He won't disappoint. He's a great subscriber to watch. And yeah, let's get on with the vid. Today we're gonna talk about the September 2011 ban list predictions and what I would do if I was Konami. First card I think should get banned is Mindmaster. Mindmaster should be banned. It is in an Exodia FTK. And what this is basically Mindmaster can tribute off psychics by paying 800 life points, which it does not, because Brain Research Lab is usually on the field and you just put counters instead of paying for psychic effects. So you can loop through your entire psychic regime, if you will, in your deck, and you draw Exodia. And that's just not good. But the thing that makes him even more broken than Substitute is that he's a tuner, which means he can be used in the Psychic log. And what that is, you bring out 2 Librarians, a Formula Synchron, and an Interior Beast, and in the OCG, you use the 2 Librarians in the Formula to sync for shooting Quasar Dragon, which is just retarded. Or in the TCG here, you sing in a Halberd Cannon, so you negate your opponent's spells and their first summon, most likely. And you draw 6 cards in the process, and if they don't have the Veiler or the DD Crow, it's just pretty much game there. So I think Mindmaster needs to get banned. The second card that I think should get banned is Briana. This card is used in the Future Fusion FTK. He's the broken card, Future Fusion is not. You activate Future Fusion, you dump 2 E-Heroes. If they MST it, oh well, you have E-Heroes in the Graveyard for American Fusion, big whoop. Brionic, you can bounce back. I've seen someone bounce back 5 synchros with this guy. It is pretty retarded how easy it just comes out. And if priority stays in the TCG, he's going to be even more ridiculous. Also, there's another reason which I will mention later why I'm banning this card. The third out of the 4 cards in which I think should get banned is Monster Reborn. This card is almost Asaki as brain control. You Monster Reborn, the fact that you can choose from both players' graveyards is pretty ridiculous for no cost at all, whereas something like Premature Barrel, you pay 800, or Call of the Haunted, it's basically equipped to it, and it's a trap, so you have to set up beforehand. And it also creates for first turn shooting star plays with Dandelion and Lone Fire. So, it's been out for a year. Usually Konami gives it for 6 months, a year, and then they usually ban it. So I think it's Monster Born's time to go. And the last card I think should get banned is Giant Tsunade. Tsunade is the most broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, apart from Hyper Librarian. And who likes to play in a format where you go set a monster, set 5 back row, try to do something to me now? It's just not fun. People just set 5 back row knowing that, oh, the worst thing that can happen is they can MST a max of 2 out of my 5, or Tsunade them all back to my hand, and I might lose that turn anyway. So it's no big deal. I'll just go into game 2 and see if I can beat them. But the format definitely, this card is the only card that I can see that is as far as spell and trap removal, that is an OTK card. Fish OTK is a prime example. They search for the Tsunade. When they activate that Tsunade, it's pretty much game. When someone activates Heavy Storm, it's just because they might be fearing of your back rows, and it's not necessarily game. Also, I think that Heavy is going to be a good replacement, which is why I'll discuss that later. Now on to the limited cards. Lone Fire Blossom. This card is pretty retarded. The fact that you can search out Dandelion as a wall, or Spore and Glow, both for your 1-star tuners, and the fact that you have 2 in your deck allows you to make the shooting star first turn plays is pretty retarded. It can also bring out, it's a free 2800 beater when you play Titanium, as long as you don't draw that thing, because we all know how bad that is. And it deck thins at 2. If you put it at 1, you don't deck thin, you just burn it, you neg 1 on the card and you replace it with another one, so you basically even out for the turn. You deck thin by 1 rather than 2. So I think that card needs to go to 1. It's got to slow down the plans, because something's got to stop these plans from doing something. Next card that needs to be limited is Pot of Avarice. This card, people don't really realize it, but for plants, this card is a +6. You put 5 cards back in your deck, most likely a Formula Synchron, a Black Rose, and 3 Tengu. And then you draw 2 cards, and you only lose that 1 Pot of Avarice. So it's pretty retarded. I've also seen a guy, he's ran out of Tengus. He's averaged the other 2 back into his deck, and then used 1 for 1, ditching the Spore to bring out the Global, and continue to OTK his opponent there by spamming 2 Librarians and Briana. And that thing, and Rant. And it's just a pretty ridiculous card. I think this needs to go to 1 if we want to put the brakes on the plant. Just overall beat down on the format, really. And yeah, that should definitely go to 1. Next card that goes to 1 is Ultimate Offering. Exceed gadgets. It's pretty retarded. You can bring out 3 Utopia and 2 gadgets and negate 6 attacks. And when Steel Swarm Roach comes up, it's going to basically stop your opponent from doing nothing. They can't do anything at all. They'll just sit there and just be like, I wish I had that Thunder King right now, because I really can't do much, and gadgets play enough traps as it is. So that's a pretty broken card. Next card that we all know should go to 1, because we just hate the stupid Librarian from down the street, is Tech Janus Hyper Librarian. This thing should definitely go to 1. Plants gain too much advantage off of it. Just the fact that you can just draw, it's pretty ridiculous. I've actually seen a guy bring out 3 of this guy and draw 8 in 1 turn. It's pretty crazy. I don't think they should ban it, because it just came out in Europe. It's not really mass release, so they can't really ban it. It's a prize card out there too. But I do think that they could possibly touch Formula Synchron to 1 as well, because it's partner in crime. So we'll just have to watch out for that. But definitely Librarian to 1. Another Synchro going to 1. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Bear. It's 1 in the OCG ban list. It makes Mistworm non-existent. It gains bits of +2 most of the time when it hits the field, unless someone has the Bottomless, and then the effect still gets to go off again. So they basically have the Warning or Veiler, and then you still have 2700 beater if they Veiler anyway. So that card should definitely go to 1. Now the next one, kind of iffy on which one should get hit. I think either Legendary Six Samurai Shin or Shin Smoke Signal should go to 1. In Shin's case, they'd be careful with their one and only Shin. If he gets, they go Tsunade and then Dark Hole Shin, you negated the Tsunade, well then you have your 1 Shin and it's gone. So Samurai players be more cautious, and they won't run double-edged sword technique, which is pretty ridiculous as it is. And then with Shin Smoke Signal, most search cards are at 1, so this should be no exception. Rota's at 1. They basically have 4 Rotas in the deck, and that's just crazy enough just even thinking about it. So I think touching Smoke Signal would slow down the consistency, and touching Shin would make Samurai players a little bit more cautious of what they do with him. Next card that I think you should go to 1 is Royal Tribute. Fraser Smith quoted that this card is crush card on crack. This is definitely the case for this card. The only deck that this is not good against is Dark Worlds in the format, and that's just in the OCG. And so this card is pretty good. And basically, if you play a plant player, monarch player, any deck that plays a decent amount of monsters, which is most of the decks nowadays, you activate this card first turn, they usually lose. It's basically, you might as well consider it an OTK/FTK card. So I think this should go to 1.